Big Fortune 500 companies like BlackRock are exploring one simple hack to make millions of dollars in real estate. But here's the thing, it's so simple, even you could do it. So if you hate shifting through mountains of emails, looking at overpriced deals, use this hedge fund strategy to make it fast and easy. So if you're like me and you're in the real estate game, people send you deals all the time. They're telling you that there's a lot of meat on the bone and you can make a lot of money. However, once you do a quick analyzation on the property, it's not an opportunity. And if it's one or two, it's not a big deal. But let's say you're getting 20 per day, that adds up pretty quick within a week. So what I do is I use AI to help me analyze deals and make a decision quicker. A lot of times people are analyzing deals with spreadsheets, going on Zillow or Redfin, and when you get one deal, it could take maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes to analyze a deal to see if it's an opportunity. But what if I told you, you could use AI to prompt it to actually do this for you at a click of a button. First, you want to get a prompt. The prompt that I actually created, I'll make sure to put it in the actual comments. The program that I'm using is Gemini. Pay $20 a month for the service, but you can even do this with the free version that they give you. It's all in how you prompt it. What I did is I made my AI be an acquisition manager for a hedge fund. The name of the hedge fund that we're actually using in this example is Evergreen Capital Partners. And I basically let the AI know that it is an acquisition for Evergreen Capital Partners. Next step is what I do is I explain what I want it to do. So you're an acquisition manager for Evergreen Capital Partners. I need you to help me review investment opportunities for fix and flips and development opportunities in the United States. I told it to use tools like Zillow and Redfin so that I can get comps for the last 3 to 6 months, and I provide the address, the asking price, and the condition of the property. That's the prompt that I would give it. And then with this information, you should be determining if the seller is asking too much for the home. If so, we need to come up with a counter offer. So next step, we want to take this prompt and we want to put it in Gemini. If you go to Google, you can go right to Gemini. So then down here is a search engine just like Google. Cut and paste the prompt that I gave you right in there. So then if you look at it, it's saying, hello, ready to assist you as an acquisition manager for Evergreen Capital Partners. So it's just basically the same prompt that I read to you already. I receive an opportunity from an investor. So let's just take this property as an example. So I drop the address in there. So I have the address, I have the asking price, and I'm letting it know that it's a full remodel. Way that you know the condition of the property, usually the person that's sending you the deal, make sure to look at photos. The photos are key. So let's say that you look at the photos and there's a whole bunch of junk in the house. The carpet's bad. You see holes in the walls. If you have to do all those things and add a new roof and all that stuff, that would be considered a full remodel versus like that house, whoever lived there prior kept it in good condition and it's more up to date based on today's standards and doesn't need new HVAC, doesn't need new roof, then that would be more of a moderate type of remodel. So it analyzes the deal right off the top. So it's saying the asking price, $1.2 million. I'm letting it know the condition is a full remodel. And then it starts going through public records, saying it's a multi-family duplex, 1,300 square feet, building 2,000. Then it starts going over the size of the lot, and it tells me zoning, RM11. So that means I can add additional units to the property based on the zoning. That's important because you could get a deal, and at the price that they're asking you, it could be a steal because what if you could add additional units? What if you could add 4 ADUs? So we look at this market analysis, actually looking at 3 properties. So it gives us 3 comps. So for the people that don't know, when you comp a property, you want to look at 3 homes that have sold in the last 3 to 6 months. You want to look at the square footage, make sure that the square footage is 10%. Some people say 15%, but I go 10%, same square footage. So then it's telling us this property listed in May. They're showing the asking price. Sales price on this property is $1.3 million, roughly. Then it's going through the cost of renovations. Average full remodel is saying in San Diego can be $50,000 to $150,000. Large scale remodel could be $75,000 to $200,000. So we have to take that into account. So when you capture the opportunity, you buy the house, you want to look at your actual cost to do your renovation. So the cost of acquisition, the cost to do the actual renovation, the closing costs to get the financing. So if you're not paying cash and you get a loan from a bank, you have to pay closing costs, and then the seller's costs. So if there's a realtor involved, you're going to have to pay that realtor as well. What this does is it breaks all that down for you. Comparable sales in the past 3 to 6 months in the 92107 zip code focuses on OB Sunset Cliffs where it's possible. Finding direct comps and full model for multifamily property is saying it is challenging with public data alone, but it brings up properties that have sold July 2020, July 2020, nearby multifamily residents that have not sold. So it's showing properties that are listed on the market as well. This property is listed. Analyzing the and justification. Property is a multifamily home at 1311. This is the asking price, 1.2 million, full remodel. Carefully considered, especially since it's a duplex. So after repair costs, the Redfin estimate says that a duplex should sell for about 1.4 million, almost 1.5. This is an estimate, $1,122 per square foot. So that's really good because it's analyzing repairs and it's telling us what the estimated value will be after we repair the property. We estimate our renovation costs will be anywhere from $300,000 to $350,000. So that's key. Depending on how much you purchase the property for, you don't want to get it at one price. Then you put the money for renovations and then you can't sell it for all the money that you put into it. Because you don't want to do all this and 3 to 6 months later be stuck with the property. So that's key to know. That's why this is very important. The holding cost. So once you get the property, depending on how many months you keep it, you have to pay to keep the property. Holding costs, 2.5% of the purchase price, 7 to 8% after repair costs. So that's $31,000. And then when you actually buy the property, $127,500 equals $158,575. We got to pay commissions. So that's to a real estate agent. Based on 5 to 6%, that could be up to $93,500. And then you got to think about property taxes. 6 months of property taxes, $920. And then you got to think about insurance. So as you buy the house, you got to pay taxes. You're going to have homeowners insurance in case something happens while you're fixing the property, someone gets hurt. So that's key to have. So estimate $2,000 for insurance. And then you got to pay utilities because as people are doing work, they're going to need electricity, water, running water, things of that nature. Loan interest, assuming a loan of $1 million at a 10% interest rate, they think 6 months of that would be $50,000 in holding costs. So total estimate for soft costs, $257,535. Profit margin, we think 15 to 20% ARV. Target profit, 1.7 million. So they basically calculate all this for you, which is amazing. Most people do this on a spreadsheet. The fact that AI is able to give us such a detailed breakdown of the cost and holding costs and all that stuff, it also can help you think of things that you might miss. So maximum allowable offer. So they're basically saying once you take the 1.7 million, subtract 325, subtract the 257, and subtract the 255, it should be $862,465. You'd have to give them a counteroffer because the seller is asking for 1.2 roughly. It even breaks down how to make the counteroffer to them for you. You can give them your information, a data that the system has pulled up and put in a nice email and just say, hey, you know what? We appreciate that you offered us this property, but based on that price, we're going to have to come back with a counteroffer, or our offer is this number, which is the 862,465, and kind of negotiate from there. So given the necessity of a full remodel, our target profit margin is 1.2 million, and that is too high. We should proceed with a counteroffer of 850 to 875, justify us buying the property. So then that's doing all the analytics for you. You can put this in a nice email, send it back to the person that's offering you the property that you're looking at, and kind of see where it goes from there. If you have a realtor, even give this information to your realtor. The realtor can submit that offer for you. But a lot of the deals we work with are off-market property, so we're dealing directly to seller to try to make more profit. Here's I guess you could say the quick version to kind of look at properties if you're analyzing them and you're first getting started in the game. I definitely recommend using Gemini. I pay for a subscription, but you don't have to. But if you're going to be seriously getting into this, I definitely recommend to do that. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, like and subscribe to the channel. And that's it. I definitely appreciate you tuning in.